Welcome, Wellspring Church, to day 2 of our 21 days of prayer. It is a joy to be with you. My name is Bruce. I'm the student pastor here at Wellspring, and so I'm excited for what God is going to do in these 21 days. As a church, we are focusing our hearts in on what Jesus has for us. And so I want to start off with just a little illustration, something for you to think about. I want you to think that you're going into war, that you've been drafted and your first ever fight is tomorrow. Now, you've been given gear, you've been given equipment, you've been given a weapon, and as you're prepping for the next day, you're making sure that everything fits correctly, that everything works, and that there's no screw-ups, no mess-ups, that there's no tears, no dysfunctions within your gear. And as you know that as you go into battle, the difference between life and death can be how good your gear holds up, and how well you have prepared and looked over and made sure that you're ready and look through your equipment. And Paul gives a very similar idea in Ephesians 6. I think what happens for many of us, though, is that we tend to overemphasize one area. And Paul goes through this list of gear that God has given us that we can lean into, that we are defended by, that we are protected by, and that we can march forward victoriously as mighty warriors. But many times we go through and we say, man, I've got my helmet of salvation, and that's all I need. And so I'm just going to emphasize this one piece of gear. And we kind of neglect and not really pay attention to the rest of what God's given us. Could you imagine if you went into battle and someone said, hey, all you need is your helmet. Everything else will be taken care of. You don't need a uniform. You don't need something to protect your chest. You don't even need a weapon. You just focus in on your helmet and you'll be set. No, that would be crazy. Many times we tend to very easily lean into the things that we're good at, the things that come natural to us, and so we overemphasize those areas. And what Paul is saying is, hey, not what is the most important here. Paul's saying, hey, each of these things that we're going to list and read through are all important. And that if we're going to survive what the devil's going to throw at us and what sin's going to throw at us and what life is going to throw at us, then we've got to be fully equipped. Not over-equipped in one area, not neglecting another area, but giving each area its due time and effort to have its effect on us, to protect us. So this is what Ephesians 6:10-18 says. A final word: be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on all of God's armor so that you will be able to stand firm against all the strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers of this dark world, and against evil spirits in heavenly places. Therefore, put on every piece of God's armor so that you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Every piece. Then, after the battle, you will be standing firm. Stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth, the body armor of God's righteousness. For shoes, put on the peace that comes with good news, so that you will be fully prepared. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on the salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. That's an interesting list. But I want you to catch what he says is that make sure that we're fully equipped, that we're putting on each piece of armor. Today, is there something that you need to make sure that you're starting your day off with? To making sure that you put on your plate of righteousness, your helmet of salvation, your shoes that bring peace from the good news, your shield of faith that defends, your word of truth that goes on the offense. As you kick off your morning, make sure that you're going through and quite literally putting on these things for your life, that you're choosing to walk in these things. Not overemphasizing one area, but putting them all on and pursuing Jesus with every part that God has given you. And that's what I want to encourage you with today. Where's that one area that maybe you've been neglecting? Where's that one area that maybe you've been overemphasizing? Where is Jesus calling you to put on that armor that maybe you forget about, that's left in the corner that's been collecting dust? Today, let's choose to fully walk in what God has for us and to be fully equipped. Thank you so much, and you have a great day.